Yesterday reminded me of a game back in 2013. It was a Friday night game at Motherwell away. Celtic scored a late goal, as they always do. We're going to talk about that in a minute because it looks like the players have dropped the Ange Postecoglou saying that we never stop and adopted a new one. And let's face it, Celtic have scored late goals like this at Motherwell before. Back in 2013, there was a number of fans got banned and 250 fans got moved to sections at Celtic Park. Let's look at the goal from yesterday, because Greg Taylor was the man who passed the ball into the middle of the field, and people would say, look, it's Brendan Rodgers passing from side to side, but they're not saying that this morning, because the ball gets passed over and then it gets passed back to Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor then takes a fantastic diagonal ball, and bang, up comes Matt O'Reilly to slot the ball back, jumping into the air and slot the ball back, which led to over exuberant, as you can see. The boys section takes a run onto the pitch, a bit like it did back in 2013. So let's, at this moment, take a little moment and pray for the seats. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about will know my Twitter from back in the day, and even this YouTube channel. Yes, this YouTube channel was around in 2013. So let's look back at the goal again, because it is a fantastic goal. I mean, Greg Taylor puts the ball out to Turnbull, then get passed along the midfield. The ball then comes back from Alistair Johnson to Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor then crosses. It's a cracking ball. Absolutely fantastic ball. And Matt O'Reilly slots it into the back of the net, which was fantastic. Matt O'Reilly then took to Twitter after the game, and this is why I'm saying that they've dropped the mantra of "we never stop." That was it was a saying coined by the previous manager. But let's face it, Celtic have, even Brendan Rodgers said after the game that Celtic as a club, even going back to the Tommy Burns years back in the 90s, Celtic scored late goals then. Celtic have always had a history of scoring late goals, even right back into the 80s. I can remember late goals from Celtic. But Ange Postecoglou did pen the phrase "we never stop," and it looks like Matt O'Reilly and the players have changed that to "we never give up." He took to Twitter after the game, posting pictures of himself after the goal celebrations, and he penned the coin "we never give up." And that is Celtic. That is Celtic all along. And what it's done also, the day that Matt O'Reilly signs a new deal and scores the goal, we'll talk about that in a minute, but Leeds, you remember that Leeds did come in for Matt O'Reilly during the summer, and they made a £10 million offer, which Celtic rejected, Matt O'Reilly rejected, and let's face it, Matt O'Reilly could have tripled his wages by going down to Leeds at that point. He decided against it after speaking with Brendan Rodgers and the board. LeedsLive.co.uk have said they've basically put out that Leeds United transfer rumours as Matt O'Reilly pens a new deal is to end the interest. So Celtic have played a blinder. It was expected that they might come back in with a new offer for Matt O'Reilly during the winter transfer window, but it has ended the interest in Matt O'Reilly, the fact that he has signed a new deal, because let's face it, he signed a new deal. It's going to cost them even more money. So if they thought they could maybe get him for 15 million, they're now going to have to pay the best part of 20 million to buy him out his contract at Celtic. They went on to said Matt O'Reilly signs a new contract. It looks like as of this morning, Sunday the 1st of October. Yeah, we're in October already. Where's this year went to? It said, look, he signed a new deal, and it looks like we are going to drop our links with him. We're going to look elsewhere, which is brilliant for Celtic, and we knew that that's the type of thing that Celtic were trying to put off. Matt O'Reilly was talking about his goal yesterday, and he said, I don't know if it was about fate, but it's a cool way to wrap up a new contract. My time has been really good so far, said Matt O'Reilly. I hope to continue that now and keep pushing on. I always wanted to sign. If I'm being completely honest, even before he signed that new contract, he wanted to sign a contract extension under Brendan Rodgers. I wonder if he would still wanted to sign that contract if the previous manager was here. Anyway, he's not. We move on. Matt O'Reilly then goes on to say, being able to do that in front of the fans, that crazy, is special. The amount of kisses I got from them was a bit absurd, but I somewhat enjoyed it. It was strange. Man hugs and man kisses all round at the game. Whoa, what a change day, because that would never happen in 2013. But it was cool. It's my favourite goal for Celtic, says Matt O'Reilly. It was a really good moment. very special to be part of that with the fans. And it was quite surreal, said Matt O'Reilly. And I have said before, I've said this many, many times, purely in my bias, but I think the Celtic away fan base are the best fans in Celtic. I mean, people will say, people have stick about the Green Brigade and the boys section and say they're not true Celtic fans and they were there before them. But I know boys, I know guys that have been there way before the Green Brigade were even involved at Celtic, and they still go to games, away games. And they're pretty much the basis of an away game fan base. And the away fan base at Celtic are the best, in my personal opinion. So let's move on from that. And let's talk about Lewis Palmer, because let's face it, without Lewis Palmer scoring that absolutely fantastic goal, was it a cross, was it a goal? The fact that he scored that just before the 90th minute, to be fair, we all thought that we were going to drop points and it was going to be a devastating day, and it turned out to be an absolutely fantastic day. And hats off to the Northern Lights that didn't go out yesterday, but the Northern Lights didn't shine on Ibrox, that's for certainty. So let's move on from that. And we might talk about that this evening in the live, so make sure that you join the live this evening. Sunday lives are always good fun. With Lewis Palmer scoring his first goal for Celtic, it was an absolute cracker just before the 90th minute, and then you think, right, okay, 2-1, we'll do that, but then to go into the 97th minute in stoppage time and score that goal from Matt O'Reilly. We have to go back to the Matt O'Reilly goal because it is one of the best goals that you're going to see this season. That has to win goal of the month, surely. And another bit of weird Celtic news that's kicking around this morning, Sead Haksabanovic. You remember him? He's a player that came in and had all the promise of being an absolutely fantastic winger for Celtic, but I tell you one thing, he's not a Lewis Palmer, that's for sure. Sead Haksabanovic wants to quit Celtic for good, according to this report, and after talks with Celtic, he wants to quit Celtic for good next summer. You've got to remember that he has now went on loan to Stoke after going public and talking about the fact that if he's not loved here, he needs to move on, which basically made sure that Celtic got him out the door, because you don't want a rotten apple in the core of the fruit basket that is at Celtic, because let's face it, it is a fantastic basket to be eaten from at this moment. The 24-year-old is now keen to move away from Celtic permanently, either in January or next summer. So I'm not sure if his loan would allow him to do that. He's obviously went down to Stoke. He has had a good couple of games at Stoke. He's only had the one assist so far. It's pretty much like his time at Celtic, to be honest. The Montenegrin international has told the hierarchy of the club that he wants to leave Celtic on a permanent basis. So it's even better news this morning, if you ask me, because Sead Haksabanovic, let's face it, offered up nothing at all to Celtic compared to the reputation that he seemingly had. He failed to break into the team when he had Jota there and Dyson Maeda in front of him. Let's face it, Dyson's there. If you can't get past Dyson on the team just now, he's never going to get back into the team, and with the wingers that have came in, he's going to just drop down. So it's a good bit of news this morning to end the video. Make sure that you subscribe. Tell me what you think about Matt O'Reilly this morning. Tell me what you think about Matt O'Reilly and the Celtic players changing the "we never stop" mantra to "we never give up." And that's probably something that Celtic, even the Celtic manager said. So Celtic have a history of scoring late winners. So on that note, we never give up. We never do walking away on the 70th minute either. So on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the